scraped off all right.
Lovely. Right, are we ready, Sagittarius?
Well, I'm only just inside it, really.
For the younger ones among you, indications are that you will be reaping happiness from a friendship with a member of the opposite sex.
Oh, that's nice. Hey, they are clever, aren't they, the stars?
Oh, it's on the right track, is it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Well, well, well. Mr. Fairclough, did you hear that?
You get your nose out of the trough, mate. I'm clearing up for the lady.
Oh, no, I'd rather you didn't, Mr. Fairclough.
Oh, it's no trouble, though.
No, it's not that. Only yesterday when you were clearing up, you threw away the bacon fat. Well, I'm saving it for the birds. I throw it to them on the yard and they all come down. They flock to me.
I'll bet they do.
Anyway, I was thinking of asking you if you could spare them a weeny bit of bread.
Oh, help yourself, anything.
Oh, thank you. Perhaps you could bring the coal in. It's more a man's work, isn't it?
Your wish is my command.
Anyway, I must earn me keep.
Ah, well, now, you don't want all the drinking. I mean, fair's fair. You slaving here all morning, come dinner time, you need a rest, you know?
Oh, you're considerate, Mr. Langton.
Ray.
You both are.
Do you fancy a drink at dinner time down at the Rovers?
Oh, yes, very nice. You both are.
Ah, well, I can't really speak for Fairclough, you know, responsibilities.
Oh, yes, I can imagine. Well, he's more experienced.
Well, he...
No, I mean you're more free and easy. I can tell that by your face. You've got a very open face. Devil may care.
Yes. See ya.
Has he gone?
Yes. Oh, thank you. Oh, you'll have to wash your hands. Oh, you've got very strong-looking hands. That must come of working with them.
I suppose the same applies to you, doesn't it? All work and no play. So if you're finished round about 12 o'clock, how about the Rover's return, eh?
You're very much alike, aren't you, you and Mr. Langton? I suppose that comes of working together, being partners, making decisions. It makes you think in the same way.
We have had our disagreements, you know.
Yeah, well, the past is the past, isn't it?
Yeah. The Rovers, then?
Yeah, it's only a step.
Right. Well, I got that worked out. 1100 hours, the mobile X-ray van arrives in Stanley Street. Handel gets here at 15:15 and saves us a place in the queue.
But I don't want my chest X-rayed.
But it costs you note, and it pays to be careful, Minnie. So we're agreed, eh? Right. Now then, I'm just going down to the corner shop to get some lozenges.
Why, have you got a sore throat?
No, I want to get my tubes clear.
Oh, don't offer to get the groceries, will you?
Minnie, are you not happy under Albert's roof?
Well, it's like being in the army.
Regimented, I agree. Well, we know the answer to that. But let's be practical, Minnie. You're paying out rent on a house that's standing empty and growing cold and dank.
Yes, it will be.
But a fire or two will put that right.
Oh, no, I'd still feel cold. I'd get the shivers there, I know I would.
Oh, you'd soon forget.
Yes, but it's just, I don't like living there anymore on my own. And besides, it's fashionable now.
What is?
Well, having lots of different people all in the same house.
Well, will you allow me to go over there and put a fire or two in against the damp?
Well, yes, I think perhaps Bobby would enjoy 40 winks by his own fire.
Grand. Let's have the key, then.
Only, I can't go and leave Mr. Tatlock now, you know, not with the Barlows going off.
Thank you.
Well, you know I can't.
The writing doesn't improve.
Don't be rude about my mother.
What's that say there? There.
Moon, blue moon.
Oh.
Well, she's got a point. We're going to the other side of the world.
How often do we go up there and see her now?
Well, I know, but...
Exactly, love. We don't. Now, look, with up to 2 months' paid leave and no home here, that's where we'll go. We'll stay there more than we do now.
Oh, we must see her before we go, Ken. We really must.
Well...
I want to.
All right, I'll tell you what, love. I'm seeing the big white chief today, all right? Now, as soon as he tells me when I can be released, then we'll start juggling plans.
Taking my mother into account.
Of course. Come to think of it, she writes just like you.
Yes, she does.
See you.
Hello, love.
He says the chaos hasn't started yet, so can I filch a bit of time?
It's all right for him. He's just going round being dynamic. Honestly, I don't know where to start. Give me noticing, I suppose.
Funny you should mention that.
The salon?
That little word notice has just entered my young life on it. They did the giving.
Yes, I heard. What did Alan say?
Well, Alan's saying don't go much together. He just ripped up his bank book and marched out.
Didn't he come back?
I suppose he must have done, because I found him in bed this morning. Still not saying, of course. So I gave him a poke in the ribs. He pulled a sheet over his head, then marched out without his breakfast, so that's it.
Well, you don't sound very put out.
I think I understand it. He wants those debts paid back at any price, more than I do. Of course, I'll pull my weight. I'll do the best.
Oh! Mustn't forget the doctors, you know, inoculations. Oh, Sue will go mad. She screamed the place down last time.
Did she?
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I can't even remember what I came.
Because you've got nothing to do, that's why.
Oh, I see, is that it? I thought it must be something.
I wish I hadn't.
Funny, isn't it? Fate.
Oh, it isn't fate. We decided.
Don't you kid yourself. Ken, getting that offer, that's fate. And when it comes, you've got to grab it with both hands. That's what I do. Mind you, with mixed results, but then, that's fate, isn't it?
You're saying that we're right to go and not to doubt.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Come in. Well, hello. What are you doing here?
Well, I saw the smoke, thought I'd come and welcome her back.
No, there's just thee and me. Would she were back, but she's not. And I'm not aware of any ghosts.
Oh, is that it? Why she won't come back?
I think so.
Oh, that's daft. I mean, well, I understand it, but it's unnecessary.
Oh, I agree. I thought if I got this place spick and span, cosy and bottomed out like, I might be able to persuade her to return.
Well, if you can't, Mr. Ganside, no one can.
Well, that's very nice of you. But I feel a bit awkward. Well, I feel it needs a woman's touch in the decorations.
You trying to get around me?
Well, I heard some tales about how you went about do-gooding.
I didn't do all houses out.
You can take on who you like, anybody, as long as they keep mum.
Are you not hitting it off, your ménage à trois?
Oh, as a threesome, we get on very well. But I never did much care for threes. Well, that's not unusual, is it?
All right, you're on.
What did you say? You're asking for a thick ear.
Watch it.
Watch where you're going, mister.
Good morning.
Morning.
Just going in for a drink after a hard morning's work.
Good.
You fancy one?
I don't see why not. I can sit and savour my gin and tonic while you explain yourself.
Hey, just a minute. Look, I think I've done enough for one day. Trying to explain about a torn bank put to some po-faced clerk.
Why didn't you tell him the truth? That you had a row with your wife and you felt like tearing her up and instead
Oh,
you just...
come on.
Well, didn't you?
I felt like tearing the whole place up.
Is that why you walked out?
Yes.
Well, thank you for respecting the furniture.
I'm trying to respect myself. I don't think anybody else can. I owe so much money.
Alan, I respect you, debt or no debt.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Could be a long road, you know.
Well, there are other jobs. I'll go and get one. What do you think I was going to do? Sit on my backside all day?
No, I'm sorry. After all you've done. You forgive me?
Daft it.
Anyway, they gave me a new bank book.
Oh, well, that's it. You're away, aren't you?
How did you get here?
Miracle of science, feet.
You're supposed to be doing that assistant job.
Client wasn't there. Pity.
Did you knock?
Hello, Mr. Fairclough. I hope you didn't rush on my account.
Rush? No.
Only you're perspiring rather a lot. I wouldn't want you to catch a chill. It's rather dangerous in this cold weather.
Will you look after me, love, and mop my fevered brow?
She's got better things to do.
Yes, that's very true, Mr. Langton.
Yes, love.
You see, I left the oven on. I'd better go and see what I can rescue. We don't want the house going up in smoke.
Let it burn.
Oh, you don't mean that, Mr. Fairclough.
God, your technique, mate.
What's the matter with it?
You've done half, lay it on.
She does abuse her implements. Mrs. Ogden's pan and brush rather looks like it's been trampled on by large mammals.
Hey, what's upstairs looking like?
Oh, most inviting. Most. Lucille,
I know young people have their own peculiar and modern views on this sort of thing, but with Mrs. Sharples being away, our moral watchdog, so to speak, and Mrs. Caldwell being implicated...
In what?
Well, it does seem a sort of love nest we're helping to set up. Of course, matrimony might ensue.
Miss Nugent, what are you going on about?
The proprieties, I suppose. Mr. Garside does have a light in his eye.
Yes, he does. Great. Good luck to them.
It is rather a curious phrase, living over the brush. Its derivation interests me.
Hi. My. You have got it looking well. Look, I brought a present for Minnie.
Oh.
I reckon a cat should go a treat on that. I told it so it won't crash.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, when you bring her in there, do you want us to make ourselves scarce?
Well, if you don't mind, in case she gets upset.
I think that's it, then.
Oh, Miss Nugent, before you go, I'm very grateful for what you've both done. But there's just one other thing I'd like to ask. Well, when Mrs. Caldwell returns, I intend to ask her a question about me being a lodger. In your point of view, would that be immoral or likely to give offence in any way?
Well,
It would. It would.
no, Mr. Garside. No.
Well, us two have been x-rayed, but of course he would be missing, so we shan't get to know about him.
Oh, I don't think there's anything wrong with Handel's chest. He doesn't cough much.
No, of course he doesn't. He weren't in trenches up to his chin in mud.
You don't think any better of him, then?
Well, you know, companionship isn't agreeing all the time. It's argument as well. You know, I argue with her, Valerie.
Are you saying, then, that you're glad of him?
Well, things were looking pretty black at time, you know, and beggars can't be choosers. Any road, I'm glad to have the pair of you.
I think I'll keep my coat.
It's very warm in there, you know.
No, I think I'll keep it on. Oh.
Do you like it?
Oh, you've made it like a palace.
Well, to be honest, I had some help. Won't you sit down?
Oh, it's my house, Handel. It's not your place to offer me a seat.
Do you feel any collywobbles, anything of that sort?
Well, it looks different.
Well, that's a relief. Have you noticed the rug? It's a housewarming present.
Oh, I don't like you giving me presents, Handel.
Why not?
Well, I can't afford to give them back.
Minnie, there's only one present I want from you, and that's for you to come home. And I'd like it to be my home, too. I'd like you to accept me as your paying guest. Well, I know that living here, it might come back to you. You'd dwell on it, and I'd be a distraction for you.
Now, you're reminding me of Joe.
Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have mentioned it.
Well, I know I'm very silly. Ina says it's silly. Only I get upset, and I'm very irritating, too.
You found me trying on occasion.
Yes, I have.
Well, then we're quits. Shall I pack my bags?
And go to Whaley Bridge?
No, I mean, and bring them here.
Well, I think if you were a gentleman, you'd bring mine as well.
You say it was all too much for you?
Sorry?
All this cooking you have to do.
Oh, no. Mr. Fairclough shouldn't be long. He's been arriving very promptly for his meals. I expect that's working in the open air. It gives him an appetite. They're both very good about the food, not the least bit fussy. I'm rather glad about that, really, because I'm not the world's greatest cook.
What is your forte, then, would you say?
Well, I do like this. Better than the other jobs I've done. I've worked in canteens before, dishing up, and factories, you know. But I didn't do very well. I've had a lot of trouble with machines.
Really?
I suppose you've got a very good job.
Not at the moment, Chuck. I'm what you might call one of the nation's unemployed.
Oh. Well, I suppose I'm just fortunate. Would you excuse me a minute, please? I have to pay a call.
Certainly. They do play havoc, don't they? These hot stoves.
They do a bit.
Hello. Fancying a day in bed?
What are you doing here?
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but your housekeeper has gone to the doings to prepare herself for your return.
Oh, I see.
Oh, feeling better now, are you?
Well, you know.
Yes, marvellous, isn't it? It must be me.
I think it's you that makes me feel better, yeah?
Yeah, and as soon as she returns, you'll have a relapse. Alan says thank you for the loan.
Elsie, what...
Get her to Dosha, and by the looks of the lunch, she'll finish you off. Hello, Ray.
What was all that about? Would you believe it? She thinks I'm coming the old soldier to wangle a day off.
Hello, I'm ready now to dish up.
As if I'd be so childish.
Your technique.
I suppose you don't agree with Rotors?
Oh, I have no strong feelings either way.
Oh, well, this is for washing up. I've got you down to start with breakfast. I'll do dinner and then Minnie'll do tea things. Then we alternate. Any road, I'll pin it up.
Albert,
Hey, I've got a shirt to go in there. I suppose you never thought to ask.
No, Albert, I'm not going to the wash.
Albert, Mrs. Caldwell's going home.
Since when?
Well, since I decided this afternoon.
Did you know about this?
Yes, I did.
And you sat there and let me make a road out for 3 of us?
Well, you can rub it out.
But it's done in crayon. I'll have to start all over again.
Well, I must go.
What for? You'd not be back all the time to have a look at him.
No, Mrs. Caldwell won't need to do that, Albert. I shall be there.
Andrew's my lodger, and he's taking up residence from this evening on.
I'm sorry.
He has every right.
Minnie, you run along, love. I'll bring your bag later.
I'm sorry, Albert, but it is my house.
You must see that, Albert.
Don't Albert me.
I'd rather there was no unpleasantness.
Well, of course there is, because you're ratting on me. You're leaving me at lurch like you did before, in 1914.
I didn't know you then.
No, well, blokes like me. Decent, God-fearing folk. You turned your back on them and left them to perish.
Can't we talk about now?
No, but there's no difference. It's just same.
Is it, Heck? We'll only be 2 doors away.
I know, and door will be shut, same as every other door in this street. Except our Valerie's, and she'll be gone.
You'll always be welcome with us.
There's such a thing as pride, you know.
Albert, you were very hospitable to both of us. As I say, I'd be glad if you'd let us return it. Thank you.
Now, don't forget, Ken, anything at all I can do, advice or satire...
Yeah, I'll bear it in mind.
Oh, Ken, the car.
Oh, yes. Would you tell Billy I'll be in touch?
Certainly, dear.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Mrs. Wilkie.
Hello, dear. It's such a shame, because we're going to have to sell the home.
Ah, notice on the floor. Yes. Flat.
Oh, dear. Now that we're in port, now that we're going. Oh, goodness, we've never got that much to do.
Mm-hmm.
Will you write mine out on a separate list?
Val, I've just had a thought. If we could find a suitable port in Scotland and sail from that...
We could see my mother.
Exactly, that's the idea.
Yeah. But do you want to go by boat?
I am trying to facilitate a decision.
I don't know what that means.
That means I investigate ships as opposed to planes.
There's that song. Trains and boats and planes.
Yeah.
Oh, leave me alone.
We've all got our troubles, you know, Albert.
Yeah, no, it's all right for you. How much you paying her? 10 quid a week, I wouldn't wonder.
It's not all roses, you know, living with our Gina.
Well, but she's housekeeping for you, isn't she?
Oh, yes, she's doing that,
Yeah. Money buys everything, doesn't it? It's those pensioners that are left to stew.
There's always meals on wheels, Albert.
Got me pride, you know.
Sorry, mate, I shouldn't have said that.
Just forget I said it, eh?
He's sulking because his housekeeper won't go out with him, and he's been trying ever so hard.
No, that is just the point. I have not. I've been playing it nice and cool, unlike some I could name.
Me, Mr. Fairclough, she's turned him down and all. He was in here moaning about it before Mr. Tatlock buttoned his ear.
I think I feel better. Hey, Lucille.
What?
How do you fancy a night out?
I'm not standing in for her. You'll have to amuse yourself.
Give us a pint, Betty, will you? Excuse me, Chuck.
How do?
Settling in.
He's consoling Daddy Tatlock. He's been abandoned, you see. We've all been abandoned.
Ah, she says I'm abandoned, Ariel the Dust.
Ah,
You know.
different thing.
I don't understand what she's talking about half the time, though.
I think it's a shame. Poor Mr. Tatlock.
Why don't you look after him?
Well, I've got my Cyril.
Not much in it for her, you know. I mean, she get no thanks.
Depends what's under bed.
You,
Well, you do hear these tales, you know. Old folks leaving pots of gold to them who see them through the twilight years.
But them's rich, aren't they?
Who knows?
Albert Tatlock?
Why not?
Well, he's overskint.
Under the bed.
Never.
Stan, why is he so cut up? Val's emigrating, Minnie with her beau, he's got this loot, who's he going to leave it to?
Where's his daughter?
He won't live with her, will he?
They don't get on together, do they?
There you are.
He's never mentioned loot to me.
Would you, mate? Fear of being robbed.
Garside, he made his pile out in Canada. Of course, some of us couldn't leave this country. We couldn't desert it. We couldn't bring ourselves to.
Have you gotten out, Albert? Have you saved nothing up at all?
Well, I banked everything on my collection, on my coins. And when I found out they were worthless, I'd given up ever wanting to be rich. I reckoned on my pension and my relations and friends. I reckoned I'd be all right with them.
Oh, thank you. Why don't you get yourself some new slippers?
I'm very fond of these. I can feel the warmth through the holes.
But only when you're sitting by the fire.
I am. And very nice it is, too.
You don't get chilblains then?
Oh, no. I've never suffered from that complaint.
Oh, I do, ever since I was a little girl. And Albert gets them on his feet. Poor Albert.
I don't think you need to be upset about him. He'll be all right.
Oh, you know, that X-ray van, it's coming round again next week. And it's no trouble. You don't have to get undressed.
Would you like me to go over there?
Oh, well, I don't want to boss you, Handel.
I should think not.
Only on the other hand, you bossed me today. And, well, I'm glad.
You'd never believe it.
What about finish with that?
What are you doing with that?
Looking for jobs.
It's out of date,
I
love.
know, but it gave me a rough idea, won't
Fairclough, are you hungry?
I fancy a shoppers again myself.
Have you had no supper, you lads?
Of course they haven't. Their housekeeper can't cook.
Our housekeeper's got compensation.
She's rather nice, as a matter of fact.
Well, then.
I'll tell you something. She's taking you for a ride, and you two, like the mug jar, walking slap bang into it.
It's a question of morale, love. She's doing great stuff for ours.
Is she?
Well, she is for mine.
Please do be careful of the floor.
I told you we should have stayed in that ship. It was you know.
Anybody fancy Wayne vinegar?
It's more unknown, you know. Scruffy old fella's having money. Jackie Smeddick lived on Orphanage Street.
One bottle of milk a fortnight.
He died a wealthy man.
I invested it 30 years ago. It came out.
When it grew, lad.
Oh, that grew all right. He didn't let on, though, did he? One bottle of milk a flipping fortnight.
Did he know about it growing?
Who knows? It finished up going to a cat's home.
He must have had more milk than that if he were fond of cats.
You haven't got the point, have you? Tatlock over there.
Just look at him, Stan. Shoulders bowed with worry.
Ah, it makes you think, doesn't
Dragging his feet along. Nobody in the world.
it? Nobody in the world.
Makes you think, does that?
Aye.